Hey there everybody, my name is Ryan, this is my Raspberry Pi Sprout. Welcome back to another episode of Sprout Tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at how to set up a modded Minecraft Forge server on our Raspberry Pi. Luckily this is pretty easy. It's pretty similar to a normal paper server that I've covered in another video, but this one allows you to do mods and lots of cool stuff. The tutorial I found for this is a little dated. It's from December 1st, 2020, but I'll link it in the description. And we'll go ahead and follow it kind of step by step and add a few extra things to it. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is setting up the environment with the Raspberry Pi OS. If you don't know how to do that, excuse me, I did a video, I'll link it in the description and also put a video card on how to get a 64-bit operating system going. It's really important that you have a 64-bit OS running because your server needs a lot more RAM to run a modded Minecraft server. Raspberry Pis have a maximum of 8, so it's recommended that you do maybe 6, maybe even 7 if you've got nothing else going on in your Raspberry Pi. So check out my video on how to do that. Luckily they have a stable 64-bit OS version now. The next thing you're going to want to do is SSH into your Pi, which I've done here. And you can do that, of course, by doing something like SSH Pi at whatever your local IP address is. If you don't know what that is, then you can check out another video that I made on how to set up a local IP, or excuse me, a static IP. I'm sorry about that, a static IP address. But we don't really need to do that now because I've already done it. Once you're in there, what we're going to do is make a directory for our server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cd over to my op directory. That's just where I like to have these things, but you can do it anywhere you want. And I'm going to do sudo mkdir, which is make directory, and we'll just call this forge server. Okay. Oh, it says it already exists. It looks like I got a little ahead of myself. Okay, well there it is. Let me just go ahead and do, how about this, sudo rm-r forge server, and then just so you can see me do everything here. Okay, so we're in ops, we're going to do sudo mkdir forge _ server. This is all, kind of repeating myself, but yeah, there it is. And if we cd into the forge server, you'll see that there's nothing here, not yet. Let's go ahead and clear that. Next, what we want to do, what they don't mention in this tutorial, excuse me, sorry about that, I should drink some water. We want to set permissions for this directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run sudo, so we don't have to run sudo all the time and we don't have to use our root privileges. So I'm going to do sudo a couple more times here. I'll do sudo chgrp, which is change group. Or actually no, we need to create a user first, and I've covered this before, but if you don't remember, it's sudo add user, and we'll just call this user forge. We'll give them a nice little password here. Okay, don't tell your friends and family. Hopefully it's a nice good long password or something. Okay, and then we'll clear that up, and now we'll SSH into our Pi as user forge. SSH forge at Sprout. Okay, hopefully I got that right. Cool. So now we are logged in as user forge, and we're going to give user forge permissions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do sudo chgrp forge, and then we're going to do forge server. Okay, and then we'll do sudo chown forge, and then forge server. Cool. Now if we do a quick ls-la, we'll find our, where is it, our forge server. Here it is, and you'll see that user forge has permissions for everything inside of this directory. So I'm going to hop over to user forge, and we're going to cd over to our directory. And again, if we do ls, there's nothing here. Now what we can do is we want to get the forge.jar file. So I just went to Google, I typed in forge 1.18.2 download. You can see they updated it 2 days ago. They update this every now and then. So go ahead and download this. I already downloaded it, and I'm going to go to my MacBook's downloads directory. And I'm going to scp, and I believe it's just forge, there we go, 1.18.2 installer.jar. We're going to send that over to forge at Sprout. Okay, I think that should be right. Okay, we'll do our password. Okay, and there it goes. It did a little headless transfer there. So we hop back over to our forge user, we'll cd, we'll do ls, and boom, there it is. Now what we want to do is cp, which is copy, and we're going to put this over to opt/forge server. Okay, and if we cd back to it, we do an ls, now we've got the jar file in there. Super. So the next thing we want to do is what? We want to Probably run sudo apt update. That's a good idea. Just before we install anything on our machine, we generally want to do an update. So if you run sudo apt update, I believe my machine should be up to date right now, and if it's not, then I will update it. So let's see what the Pi tells us once it's done reading these package lists. Okay, it says they're all up to date. If they're not, you can do sudo apt upgrade, and that will upgrade your machine to the most recent version. The next thing you want to do, of course, is install Java. Again, I've got another video on that. If you don't know if you've updated it or not, you can do java-version. And yeah, you can see I'm running on 17.0.1. Last time I updated it was a while ago, but I really have no reason to update it to a newer version until it becomes a requirement. Again, I've got another video on how to update your Java, so check that out if you don't know how. I'll cover that. Excuse me, I won't cover that now. I really should get some water. So you've got your updated machine, you've got your Java installed environment. They run through how to do that here. You can also run sudo apt install default to JDK, but we're not going to do that. So like they say, it's finally time to install the server. So let's hop back over to forge user here. And what we're going to do is we're going to run java-jar forge. Oh, whoops, no. Sorry about that. I just did tab complete. Oh no, yeah, that is right. Yeah, we do java-jar forge. It's going to be like our installer file. You can rename it if you want, but this is just what mine is. So just make sure it's this download file that you've got, and then we're going to do -- install server and press enter. Cool, and we don't have to run sudo or anything because we have permissions. So let's make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to minimize this for a second, and you'll kind of see what it does, and this might take a while. So while we're waiting for this to happen, I'm probably going to get some water so I'm not coughing through this whole video, and we will come back when it's done downloading. As I said, this will probably take some time. It's going to depend on your internet connection and so on. So let's wait, and yeah, there it goes. So we'll come back when this is finished downloading. Okay, cool. So we should be done now. It says the server installed successfully, and we can delete the installer if we want. So we'll just do ls, and now we have some things in here. That's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this so it looks a little nicer. Next, what we want to do is, of course, the whole point of this is to get mods in here. So before I forget, I'm going to hop over to my downloads folder. Still coughing, sorry guys. And you can download any mod you want. If you just hop over to Google and type in Minecraft mods, there's loads out there. But it should be a jar file. The one I'm going to do is, it's called Tough as Nails. And it's really important here that we clarify that the version of your mod should be compatible with the version of your Forge client. They will not work together if they are different versions. That's something kind of nice about paper servers with plugins is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But for Forge, as far as I know, it is completely it needs to be completely the same version. So we've got a 1.18.2 mod here. We're gonna just SCP that over to our Pi, and let's hop back over here. Let me cd. We'll do ls. There's probably a faster way to do this. I know you can do it like straight into the directory, but I kind of forget at the moment. Okay, we'll cp tough as nails, and we'll do opt forge server. Okay, we'll cd over to opt forge server. Okay, cool. So there's that. We'll need that later. We need to put it in a mods folder, but we don't have that yet. Now what we want to do is real quick hop into our run.sh. So our little tutorial here back in 2020, maybe it was the case, I'm not sure. But I believe that you got the a different kind of looking directory here. This one gives you a bash script, which is really nice. So let's get in there. Run.sh. So we'll do nano run.sh, and you'll see here that it's talking about how it needs certain JVM and program arguments. And where we can find these is where we can find these somewhere else, not here, but we're going to run this script. What we want to do is we want to get into this little thing here. So we're going to do nano user JVM args.txt, and you'll see here that they're talking about the XMX and XMS. This might look familiar from vanilla or paper servers. And they say a good default for a modded server is 4 gigs. And it says uncomment the next line to set it. So I'm going to uncomment this, and I'm going to do, what is it? They said probably set the minimum to this. So I'm going to take their advice. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to do XMS 2.5, and I'm going to do this one, probably 4 gigabytes, because I've actually got another server running on here, and I don't want to overload my Pi. So I'm going to do Control X, press Y for yes, enter. And this is another good opportunity to show you another kind of neat function of the Pi, which I discovered quite recently. It's called htop. So here you can see that my Raspberry Pi is using, out of the 7.63 allocated to it, I guess it's not the full 8 because they probably for good measure keep the full 8 away from you just in case you really screw up. But it's running at 2.72 because I have another server running at the moment. So we are going to allocate 4 gigabytes to this, so it might get up to a little under 7. Okay, so we're just going to play it safe, but I do recommend if you're going to do a modded Minecraft server, maybe put it all the way up to 7. Why not? You can get a lot of mods on there, get a lot of players, and so on. So let's nano in there one more time just to make sure we got it. Okay, so we have this here and this there. Okay, we'll do Control X. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run the bash script. So I'm going to do bash run.sh. We'll press enter. And it should not run completely at first because it's going to load a couple things, and then I believe we need to agree to the EULA agreement. So let me just, okay, see there, you know, it's going, it's doing something. Let's get our little tutorial here again. Right, so it's going to make a server.properties file. I need to get in there. Don't let me forget that. It'll make a world and a mods folder. Okay, so you'll say it failed. Let's make that bigger again. We'll do ls. We've got a couple more things here. We have a eula.txt script or text. I'm sorry. Let's do nano eula.txt. I'll press enter. We'll change eula from false to true. Okay, we'll do Control X enter. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we can do bash run.sh, and let's see this thing go. While it's running, in the meantime, I'm going to open up this, and while we're waiting for that to run, I'll kind of make it like here. Make sure that you have the latest Forge version. Whoops, don't want that open. Thank you. You want to make sure you have the latest Forge version in your Minecraft launcher. The way you do that is, again, you go to the Forge downloads, you download. It's the same jar file that you have for Raspberry Pi as you have for the launcher, actually. So navigate to where that is in your downloads folder, go to installations, click new installation. You can go here to browse, and it should take you to the default directory, whether you're on Windows or Mac or whatever. If not, just go to Google and like search, how do I find my Minecraft directory for Windows or Mac or Linux or whatever. Go to versions, and then it should be in here. I've already done it, so it should be the .jar file or the folder. I forget, but you'll click open, and then you'll you'll type create. But I've already done that, so okay. So let's see here. So yeah, just make sure you have that. I've got that ready to go here, and in fact, I'm gonna press play. So that can load in the background while we're waiting. Okay, some interesting things are happening here. Let's take a look. Okay, so far so good. I don't think there's any big problems here yet. It said it failed to load properties from file server.properties because there are no properties yet, I believe, so that should be okay. And part of me is thinking, actually, because I'm running my other Minecraft server on port 25565, this may give me an error because the default is to run it on 25565. So I'm predicting now that we are going to get an error message, but that'll give us a chance to go into server.properties and change that. And if you don't know how to change that, we can check that out. Yep, there it is. Failed to bind to port because it tried to go on 25565. Great, so let's clear that. We'll do an ls. Now you'll see we've got a couple different things. Let's go into the server.properties. I'm going to nano in there. And I'm going to go down, change all of this to what? Let's pick an interesting port. Also, I want to kind of screw with the max world size. Let's make it, I don't know, 1,000 or something. You can change lots of stuff in here. We'll do max players 5, or why not 4? Okay, here we go. So query port, I'm going to change that to 70. I'm going to change Archon to 70. If you don't know what that is, I'll do a video on that in the future. I'm always telling myself I'll do Archon. Change that to the port. Okay, we'll do Control X, Y, yes, clear. Now let's do it one more time. We'll do bash run.sh. And if you're griefing at me and being like, oh God, this it's taking so long, one thing I've learned with Raspberry Pi is that there's lots of errors. So I find it helpful too to show you the problems that can happen. So if you're still watching, you're a champion. Okay, so, and that should be good now. Okay. So let's bring up our little launcher here. There it is, and you can see we've got a little asterisk there. And there we go. That is our Forge client. It might look a little different, but pretty much the same to our oh, wait, I just remembered something. Okay, because I saw the word mods. I'm going to Control-C this and stop it. We never moved our mod into the mods folder, so let's do that too. So I'm going to do CP tough as nails into mods. Okay, and then I'll do a quick CD into the mods directory, and there it is. Okay, so third time's a charm, right? We're going to do bash run.sh, boom, and we are going to let that run. Okay, cool. And let's get this over here. So we can just kind of take a look at our Forge client here. We click mods. I've already got tough as nails ready to go because I've done that before, but I wanted to show you again how to put that into your mods folder headlessly. And this whole operation is really cool because normally it takes a GUI interface, some sort of graphic user interface, but with a Raspberry Pi we can do everything headlessly from anywhere, which is great. Cool, and you can see that it's loading this tough as nails mod here. I've never played with many more mods, so excuse me again. It might load all of them here. I'm not too terribly sure, but so far this has worked for me. So let's wait a minute here, and we will kind of watch the whole process of this thing loading. And I'm not sure if you can hear this noise or not, so I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, as beautiful as the music is, right? Okay, we have a bunch of warnings here, but warnings are not errors, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, there we go. Okay, interesting, and you can see my download is even a little old. It's saying it's .32 and the most recent one is .36, so whatever. I mean, as long as we don't get a red error message, more or less this is fine. And also we're running it for the first time, so you can see it's correcting a couple things, which is okay. So yeah, well, again, we'll just kind of wait for that to do its thing. Okay, there we go. Minecraft Recipe Manager. That's like the sort of the start there. All right, and let's just hop into the multiplayer tab because this is where we're going to load our server. So here's my other Minecraft server that's running on Raspberry Pi. And if you see, I can hover over here. It says incompatible vanilla server. Oh, interesting. And this one says it's old. Not sure what that means. Incompatible version. Well, maybe that's because I haven't got it up and running yet, but I hope that's the case. Okay. Let's actually hop over to our htop. Okay. Now, remember before it was like 2.7, I think. Now we're at 4.82. You can see that this Forge server is taking up quite a bit of RAM. And we haven't even loaded the world yet, so we can probably expect that to just keep climbing. And if you're not familiar with htop, we can kind of run through that a little bit too. I can do, for Mac, it's FNF, what, 4? Excuse me. No, we just want to do F4, I think. No. Control F4 maybe? No, it's FNF4, right? No. Okay, I'm not sure what's, oh my God, look at it go. Look at it climb. Okay, so maybe I just needed to click on it. Fn, F4. There we go. Okay, so I'm just doing filter. If we type in the word forge, that'll give us our user forge over here on the left-hand side, and you can see all the things running under that, and you can see that it's taking up 3.2 gigs. No, how much? How much? Yeah, 3.276 M. Yeah, so quite a lot. Okay, very interesting. Okay, and let's go back to our F4 and we'll kind of delete that so we can see everything running here. Okay, great. So let's hop back over here. Okay, you can see it's preparing the world. So preparing spawn area, that's gonna probably take a minute. I noticed that this takes a little bit longer than the paper MC server to get started, but I think that's usually just on the first time because it has never prepared a world. So okay, anyway, let's go back into multiplayer. Let's edit this. Okay, right, forge test. Okay, so also if you don't know how to do this, let's just delete this real quick. Okay, to get into the forge server, you want to type add server. Let's call this forge test. Okay, and our server address, this should be your local either your local IP or your static IP. For me, it's my static IP with the port of 25570. So we'll do done. And I don't know why that says old. It says incompatible version, which maybe we need to review something here. Let's go back to our, let's see here. Okay, we're going to exit this. Okay, we're going to cd over to opt forge server. We'll do a quick ls. And we've got 1.18.2. I wonder if it's saying that because we don't have the most latest version, which I think, what was it, 3.6 or 4.0? Anyway, let's wait for it to load and we'll kind of see why it's saying that. I'm not entirely sure why. Yeah, I understand this one because it's paper MC, but again, let's just be patient and we'll see what happens. So, all right, so it says it's done now. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Okay, there we go. So I did not need to worry about that. We've got a little check there, 3 mods present, compatible FML modded server. Let's connect and see what we see. All right, here's the moment of truth. All right, and it says I've connected there, so let's give it a minute because this is a MacBook, so it's nothing exciting. And there we go. We have successfully connected to our modded server. Let's go ahead and hop over to our htop, and you'll see that we're running at a massive 6.13 gigs. With 1 player in 1 mod, this server is running at 3.5. Wow, 3.5 gigs. And that's without even the world loading. So again, you can see how if you want to get even just a couple friends on here, it's really important that you probably get this server 7 gigabytes, as much as you possibly can. And that's it, guys. So you can see I've got this thing called Climate Clemency. What's cool about this mod is it does temperature and thirst. So when that clock runs out, I am going to have to worry about the sun and the desert and weather and all sorts of things, which is really cool because you can do that in modded Minecraft and lots of other things. Anyway, guys, this is it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that good YouTube stuff, and I will see you in the next video. So long.